Well, happy Pride Night, Flames fans. It's good to be with you. It's been a while since you and I have chopped it up after a crazy January. Start to January for me. I'm finally back. Peter held down the fort great, but I'm back again, and I'm happy to be with you, especially on the heels of a win. As we always talk about, I don't often get to cover those with you. Welcome to Game Over Calgary and Ottawa. It's a crossover episode. Auddie James, Charlie Arsenault. How you doing, buddy? I think I know the answer.
Is it bad that I've been worse?
No, that would track. I think that would track. That would track with the 2023-2024 Ottawa Senators.
Yeah. They scored 3 goals. This isn't rock bottom. This is they blew 3 leads, but this isn't rock bottom.
No, definitely not. It would have. It had the potential for a little bit there to be rock bottom for the Calgary Flames, but we'll dive into it because it was looking a little bleak. But yeah, Calgary Flames win a big one, 6-3 over the Ottawa Senators tonight at the Scotiabank Saddledome in front of the faithful Sea of Red on Pride Night. Some beautiful Pride tape. We didn't see the Pride jerseys this year, but Pride tape still lives strong. We're happy to see it. So. Okay, let's dive into this one, man. This was a game off the hop where, first of all, for the Flames people watching, I would be remiss if I didn't mention a finally moment for people who have been calling for Dylan Dubé to sit in the press box and have the popcorn diet. I have to at least mention that Dylan Dubé was scratched tonight in this one. Jan Kuznetsov making his NHL debut as well. We saw a solo lap, a rookie lap for Jan Kuznetsov. So a couple quick little hits there for the Calgary Flames. But leading into this one, my man, it was you know that meme where it's I think it's called the Battle of the Midway or something like that. But they always crop out the way, and it's just the Battle of Mid. Everybody shares that meme. That's kind of what this game had the feeling of. Like it was really poised to be the Battle of Mid because the Flames obviously not playing very good, just losing to a very depleted Chicago Blackhawks team, a team that is a borderline AHL team with the amount of guys that they have on IR right now. And Ottawa, you could probably touch on it a little better than I can, but not been the best 2023-2024 for our friends who play in Canada there, hey?
Yeah, I think calling the Sens mid at this point is a little generous. I am days away from my first click on Tankathon of the year. I thought I was retired. I thought I was done, man.
The rebuild's over. Pierre said so. We're supposed to believe that, man.
Pierre said so much. Pierre said so many things.
Bro was just saying words.
The
Ottawa Senators are a hockey team. Yes.
We're a team. You can't deny it.
No, they are a team. They were in fact the opposition tonight, and they did lace up their skates, and they did for the most part keep their sticks on the ice, and they played you would say maybe not a full 60, but they played 60 minutes of hockey. So they are in fact a team. Chat is active. Good to see everybody in the chat as well. Bit of housekeeping before we get too far ahead. Just save your questions for the end. Charlie and I will answer any Sens, Flames, Blue Jays, wink, wink, questions that you might have. Yeah, let's go, baby. Let's go.
I knew you would.
I had to. It was either that or a Vladdy jersey. But yeah, it was not. The start of this game was very much. There's this term that Flames fans and people on Flames Twitter like to use. It's the opposite of being sensed. It's flamesy. So this was a very flamesy start to this game in the sense that, and I know, we could probably reverse the roles of what I'm about to say for these teams as this game progresses. But lots of turnovers. My notes section on my phone was just, the Flames can't get anything past the neutral zone right now. And I don't think that's a credit to Ottawa. I just think that's a discredit to how bad Calgary was. But yeah, it was a bit of a mid-off back and forth first period there. What say you?
My only note about the first period, only note, is it was so nice seeing the Sens be the team that scores late in a period.
Yeah.
Because the Sens, maybe I don't know, maybe this is just like a pattern between other, like for most bad teams, but late period goals aren't like the reason this team sucks, but it's part of what kills them.
Right.
Um, so that goal with 1.6 seconds remaining, that was at least a bit of like a positive for me as a Sens fan. Um, Other than that, I mean, the first goal is like kind of fluky. I mean, it's a rebound off of a defender in the net. So
Yeah, it's a tough
can't
look for
give.
Kuznetsov in his first game. Hey.
Yeah, actually, honestly, kind of both the Sens goals in that period, really. I mean, the second goal went in because Anderson shoved Greg into Markstrom, right? So,
Yeah.
um, you know, uh, the Sens were kind of lucked into two goals there. Meanwhile, that I don't know. That's I mean, and then the Flames. I mean, if you're counting purely good goals to like if you're only counting good goals, Flames up 1-0 in the first. Like that was a nice goal. Granted that was yet another defensive turnover from the Sens at the blue line.
That was bad.
God, Chikrin swatting at that bouncing puck and it was a two
Oh,
on
I was
one.
like, what
Like,
the fuck is this guy
oh,
doing?
I don't
This
know
guy
because
wanted to play
he
meaningful
skated up
games in
so early.
Ottawa.
How are you pinching up when there's a scrum at the blue line,
That
dude?
was
What's
bad.
happening?
That was bad. And
Oh,
and who else but on the tape of one of the hottest rookies right now, in Connor Zary. That was a fucking snipe too. What a
that
shot.
was such a nice shot.
Oh my god.
God.
I was telling you before we went live, my brother's a Sens fan. He was at this game tonight too. And yeah, I was like, man, there's not much aside from the turnover. There was really not much that Corpusalo could have done. That was just he picked that corner perfectly. And
No.
and what a game for 47 in red tonight. But yeah, to your point, to that Sens late first period goal, that was just I hate to keep using the word, but very flamesy. They like tell me what you saw from a Sens fan's perspective grading the Flames there. They looked lost. That's when I thought, I'm like, okay, this is it. I'm fully prepared to come on tonight and scream and yell a la SD of the SDPN, because this was just an abysmal play late in the period. The minute the Sens started kind of building some pressure in the offensive zone, I was like, this is it. They're going to
Yeah.
score here. Um, and they do, but like, take me through what you thought from the Flames there,
I
man.
have I have to I mean
Wow.
on replay I kind of had that feeling of like, oh my God, did they put Sens players in Flames jerseys on D? But like no, I was so focused on the fact that for the first time and like I so I'm cheating. I didn't watch the Sens Oilers game, but going back I've watched enough games in a row to kind of have an idea of how this team's playing at this moment where I was like, I can't believe they're maintaining possession of the puck and keeping pressure in the offensive zone. This hasn't happened yet this game, and it feels like it's so rare for the team to do. And then on the replay, I was like, oh, that's why, because no one was stopping them. So, um, I don't know. This episode is just gonna be like, man, the Sens suck, but it was because also the Flames suck, and then you're gonna be
Yeah,
like the Flames suck, but also like the Sens kind of suck.
I
This
know.
is what it's gonna be?
That's why I'm not putting too much stock into this. I know there's some people that are like, "Oh, what a great rebound from the Flames tonight," because of the obvious embarrassment against the Blackhawks. You know, what a good bounce back. But I'm like, man, you just beat the 2023-2024 Senators. Are you really like that proud? Are you patting yourself on the back for that? Granted,
No.
it progressed to be a pretty good game for Calgary. They kind of figure their shit out as this game goes on, and the third period was evidence of that. They were really good in the third period. I mean, I don't think it takes too much brain to tell you that much, but you know, I'm happy to cover a win. I'm happy to talk about a win. I'm happy that they got a win. But at the same time, it's like, okay, depending on which side of the argument you're on for the Flames, whether you want them to sell off and kind of go through a mini retool, if you want them to keep winning, um, you beat the Sens. Do this to like a Vegas, or I mean they have beat Vegas this year. Do this to a powerhouse team. Beat the Jets. Beat the Canucks. I can't believe I'm saying that. The top two teams in the NHL right now. Craziness to me, first and foremost. But do it to a team that matters, and I mean this with all due respect. You know it as well as I do. This Sens team is not fucking good. Macklin
No.
Celebrini is going to be the prize at the end of the tunnel here for the Ottawa Senators. Hopefully, when you're hitting your tankathon, spamming to see how many times the Sens get first overall. But for me, like, yeah, it was a good win, and a lot of guys really stood up. Like Coleman looked good, Connor Zary looked good, Noah Hannafin, who by some fucking miracle is re-engaged in contract negotiations. These guys look good. It was a good win. But man, if you're really trying to be a team that pushes to, like, trying to make a push for the playoffs and make some noise, do it against someone not called the Ottawa Senators, And I mean that with all due respect. I'm not trying to get my licks in, because you know it as well as I do. This isn't breaking news.
No, I'm watching this team every night, man. Like, I know it as, yeah. Like, you can say anything you want. I don't think it'll be anything as negative as I've said on the show.
I've watched a couple shows with you and with Maud as well, and it's tough sledding over there. I'm proud of you guys for keeping your composure as much as you have last year and this year, because it's been a slippery slope here for.
At least there weren't really expectations last year. At least last year it was like, well, let's see what happens. Yeah. This is the first year where the fan base was like, all right, it's playoffs or bust. And now they're going to like finish the season with like maybe 70 points.
Yeah. I feel like such an idiot, because I put my preseason rankings together and I had Ottawa in like third in the Atlantic. I'm like, this is going to be the year. This is going to be the year the Sens finally, get out of that slump. They put the ghost of Chris Kunitz behind them, and they, sorry. They put the ghost of Chris Kunitz. Yeah, sorry, Sens fans, all of you in here that are, that are watching. But, yeah, I thought this was going to be it, but man, it's been tough sledding. Good on you and Maud for keeping it as cool as you have. Because there's been nights where myself or Peter, like this Flames team, where we come on and we just tear them apart too. And it's like, it could be worse. We could be the Ottawa Senators, or we could be covering the Ottawa Senators right now. So, but yeah, talking about this game here, was there anything in this game from a Sens standpoint that stood out as good to you? And I'm genuinely not being a prick, like, whatsoever. I want you to be able to, like, maybe pull something positive from this, because, I've been doing this for a while now, and, you sometimes you have to pull something good just to try to, try to make things kind of more fun to talk about.
At least compared to the last two games I covered, those were 10 p.m. starts. This was a 9, so I got that going for it.
There you go.
There's a positive.
Hey, you have tomorrow off too,
and I got tomorrow off. It's a beautiful thing. No, I legitimately, I'm struggling to pull out an answer here.
I think if from an observer who doesn't watch the Sens as much as you, one maybe not even a positive, just like he looked good tonight, was Matthew Joseph.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously, so happy that he's back. First game back since the 15th of December.
Yeah, he missed 10 games.
Yeah, and it is wild how much of a difference maker he's become this season. Like, coming into the season, if you told me, yeah, Matthew Joseph's going to miss 10 games and it is going to be painful, like, you are going to notice it. It is going to affect the entire way the team plays. Because this guy, like, I mean, he's so fast. You stick him, and he's such a good penalty killer. So you put that together with the fact that also now he's figured out how to score this season. Like, he is such a good all-around player. And early on in the season, he was the guy you move to make cap room. Within 10 games, everyone realized, oh, no, he's a different player now, and you got to ship out somebody else. So within 10 games, this guy went from being like probably even less than 10 games, honestly, probably fewer than that. Went from being like the guy that, the team is going to ship out for cap space and then became such an important part of the team. And honestly, like, you know what? No, you're right. I shouldn't be so negative. He actually was very much a bright spot, not in just the fact that he's back, but like
He
he
was
looked
genuinely
really
good.
good.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
genuinely good. It's funny, like I say, looking from the outside in, as someone who doesn't cover or follow or nearly as close as you guys. I do have a lot of mutual people on Twitter who are Sens fans, and it wasn't long ago that these people were throwing Matthew Joseph's name out there to get him the fuck off this team. Like,
Last year was brutal.
yeah, and now it's Michael Scott. Oh, well, how the turntables. Like, everybody's pumped that this guy's back and he looked good. He's, like you said, he's quick. Like, he impressed me tonight with his skating. I genuinely didn't realize how good of a skater he is. But yeah, man, the Sens, it's not much of a secret, but the Sens have some they've got some gripes, eh? Some little hiccups and things to work out because it's not great.
I can't believe how obvious so many problems have been all season and none seem to have been addressed, coaching change or not.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so much of it has been this season has been like a debate among the fan base between, is it the defense or is it the goalies? And I've very much been it's the defense guy all season.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much with Anton Forsberg. He's been like genuinely bad. But with Korpisalo and net, I think it was I think it's still pretty recently though. I saw basically I can't remember who it was. It was probably ineffective math. Probably using his system. Where it was shown that like with Anton Forsberg on the ice, the Sens are pretty much an average defensive team. With Korpisalo, they are a black hole, and Korpisalo somehow still has slightly better numbers than Forsberg. Um, I think the perfect example would be the other night against Seattle, where Korpisalo allowed 3 goals. All 3 of those goals were off turnovers, 2 of which were breakaways, and one was 2 Kraken players were in alone, basically in the crease, uncontested. Like, there's nothing you can do. So if Korpisalo's in net, for the most part, I've been thinking it's a defensive issue. Um, but again, even then, like, I mean, you look at his numbers, Korpisalo hasn't been league average purely stats wise. I know his goals saved above expected is like bottom of the league along with Forsberg. So it's tough to like really, really defend him. But I do think that the defensive structure as a whole is a bigger problem, which is wild when you look at anyone on the defense who isn't named Travis Hamonic. This should be really good. This should be a really good decor.
Yeah, it's pretty glaringly obvious too that the blue line is not doing you any favors if you're an Ottawa Senator. Like I'll be honest with you, man. Like, we can touch on this because I've been dying to talk about this. Thomas Chabot looks fucking lost out there. And if I see one more trade proposal come into my fucking mentions on Twitter with this guy, Thomas Chabot, being the centerpiece in a trade for the hometown boy, Mackenzie, I might lose my goddamn mind. I might lose my shit on the timeline if I see one more fucking trade proposal come through where Thomas Chabot is the piece, the big piece, the golden boy, the poster child of what this trade should be centered around for Calgary in a trade for you guys just to get Mackenzie Weegar. I might lose my mind. I got blocked by a guy this week because I quote tweeted him with the crying laughing emoji because it was an abysmal trade. Tried to get Weegar, Tanev 50% retained and a first for Shabbat, and I can't even remember because it was so irrelevant. And I was like, "What do you do?" I think that first round pick is on the wrong side. Maybe not. But either way, it was bad. I got blocked by that guy. I saw two more Sens fans. I'm not going to call them out because they're people who have podcasts and talk about the Ottawa Senators. These are people that shouldn't be. They should have a better mind than to come up with these kind of proposals. But let's just bury it now. There will be no world where Thomas Chabot and Mackenzie Weegar are swapped in a capacity in which Chabot is the centerpiece of the deal. Can we agree on that?
Currently, yes.
Right now, I like he looks lost out there. He looked lost out there tonight. I don't watch the Sens every night, but fuck, man, if that was an audition for a trade, I think I think that maybe the Flames and the Sens could be good trade partners. I just don't think that that's really. Yeah. Actually, maybe they can't. I think I'm trying to will it into existence. The Flames and the Sens are kind of like eerily more similar than I think people lead on. You know.
Yeah. All I'll say on Shabbat is this season has been just decimated for him with injuries.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's been 100% at all this season. So at this point, honestly, like maybe you're better off just shutting it down. But no, he's been pretty brutal for a good chunk of his games. Like, let me see here. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is his 7th game since October 26th.
Yeah, that's not great.
Came back for 2 games. I guess got hurt again.
Yeah, I guess the whole injury thing probably plays a part in that. But right now, what I'm trying to get at is I don't think that makes any sense. Sens fans would love it. Granted, Sens fans would love it. I'm sure they would. Kenzie Weegar's great. Hometown boy. The vibes would be immaculate, as he's been known to say. But
as a bonus too, he's a right shot, and Ottawa Senators fans love mentioning how the left side's incredible and the right side is a black hole. Where after you get Zub, you got Hamonic and Jacob Bernard Docker. I mean, I guess you can get Chikrin to play as offside if you want. Brandstrom can kind of play as offside if fucking Jacques Martin isn't playing him at forward. Oh my god.
that was an odd time.
He was so good too, and that's what pissed me off because I was so against it.
I love it.
His expected goals for in that game was like 80%. He cracked 80 in that game on the 4th line, carrying fucking Zach McEwen, and I think Parker Kelly was on that line with him. Or no, because who would have been center then? No, it must have been Kastelic and McEwen, I think. Kelly might have been bumped up to the 3rd. I don't remember. That was too long ago. That was like a week ago. Who has time for that? In Sensland, it's today. We're only focusing on today because we don't want to think about yesterday
or tomorrow.
Dude, tomorrow's even worse sometimes. Actually, it's I don't know. Is it worse? That's about the same. Next game that they play is against the Sabres on Thursday. That's like the Sens, the Sabres, and the Flames are all kind of hovering around the same area that none of us thought they would be. So that's kind of a fun little bit of sadness for everyone involved.
I just wanted to quickly shout out before we keep going along here. Thank you guys for watching. This is awesome. This is mine and Charlie's first collab, first crossover episode that we've done, which is highly anticipated. We've been looking forward to this one for a while. I've had this one circled on the calendar. So if you're liking it as much as we are, be sure to hit like, share the stream, subscribe. Last time I checked in YouTube Studio, we were like 400, maybe 600. I can't remember if we were at 99,400 or 99,600. But either way, we're closing in on SDPN 100,000. So
it's looking like 99.6.
Okay. So 400. That's even better. We're only 400 away. So if everybody watching tells like 5 people, and they tell 5 people, and they tell 5 people, it'll look like this. It'll look like a big pyramid scheme, but it's not. It's actually just you sharing good content with the people that you enjoy in your life.
It's a fine line, guys.
That's right. That's right.
No.
Get the subs in if you're new to the channel. We do appreciate it. Lots of great shows across the network, and I'm sure you're bound to find one other than us that you like. To bring it back to Flamesland, some things that I liked outside of there were some things I didn't like, and it was the first 40 minutes, and then in the last frame, I really liked the third period. Blake Coleman has continued to impress.
What's going on with him this year?
He's on pace for, I think, 34 goals now. He scored his 16th and his 17th tonight.
Hit like 60 points. Like, what is happening with this guy?
Yeah, he has been regarded by me as probably the most well-balanced. He's been the bright spot for this Flames team in times where, you know, you're looking for a guy like Huberdeau, you're looking for a guy like Kadri to step up, and it's been Blake Coleman. And he has kind of, you know, I don't want to say like flown under the radar, but he hasn't been like, he's been like your typical middle six guy for his entire time here in Calgary, even before when he was with Tampa. That line that he was on with Barclay Goodrow and I believe God, who was it? He's with Seattle now. Oh, Yanni Gourde. It was Gourde, Coleman, and Barclay Goodrow. That was disgusting, and he was the driver on that line. And you're seeing it now in Calgary, and it's paying dividends. This guy's playing lights out hockey. He's been a bright spot, and he shined again tonight. 2 goals. Sharon Govich, who's continuing to impress in a time when people were kind of skeptical about the Tyler Toffoli trade and getting him in return for the previous leading goal scorer for the Flames. But perhaps among those, the biggest light shining, and I know I talked about it a little bit before, was Connor Zary and just how good he was, especially on that. I believe it was the Hanifin goal where he kind of just. It's a set play off the face-off. It's a win back. They fake the shot. A whole bunch of space opens up. They pass it over to Hanifin, and who's right there in front of the net? Perfect timing. Gets the bro assist. He doesn't get an assist on the play, but he gets the bro assist for just a perfect screen because really, 9 times out of 10, you'd like to think Korpisalo has a backhand floater, you know, pretty well. Pat, you would think, even for a guy like him who, you know, let in 5 goals tonight. But Connor Zary was impressive. Off the puck, he's great. He's putting up points like crazy, and each game he's getting better. I want to know from your perspective. I know you maybe don't follow the Flames as much, just because given the time change and all that stuff too. But on Connor Zary tonight, what did you think of the young man?
I gotta admit, not necessarily not a word as strong as ignorance, but just like, I mean, I knew he was like playing well, but I hadn't watched him yet this season. So it's like one thing to kind of see the stat sheet, and it's another to actually see him play. The most I ever watched him play was, what year was he on Team Canada, the World Juniors?
It would have been not last year, 3 years ago, I believe.
Okay, if it was 3 years ago.
2021?
2021, yeah, that maybe.
Because his
sounds right.
First year pro after that, he got hurt. Maybe I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 years ago. Somebody in chat will definitely correct
I'm sure
me.
someone will absolutely let us know. But the main thing I thought I knew about him was everyone was kind of like talking up how great he was as like such a late, because he was a late first round pick, right?
He was, yeah.
And everyone's like, man, look at this guy taking off. And then at the World Juniors, he just was very, very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know. I think I bought into the hype of like, oh no, he had a bad World, like that means anything. But whatever. I was still kind of like bought into that a little bit. And then this year, I mean, obviously, like even first rounder or not, like I guess 22, you're a bit of a late bloomer as a first rounder. If this is your rookie season, your first full rookie season.
There was substantial injury time missed as well. His first full season pro, and then I believe a bit of time last year as well.
as well. Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
so late bloomer, yes, but mostly held back from injury.
In like a Nick Robertson type of way, I guess.
Right, yeah. I
Yeah,
think it
okay,
was
that
his
makes more
knee.
sense then.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like I was blown away. I was blown away by him. And granted, that's against the Ottawa Senators defense, but uh, still really, really impressed with him.
But he's been doing it all year. The Flames went through this identity crisis a little bit where, it was kind of when they were still trying to figure out where and what to do with Jonathan Huberdeau. And I don't know, maybe they've kind of found it out now. He seems to be on a bit of a heater with 6 points in his last 6 games. I know that sounds ridiculous, but he also went like 18 games without a point. So prior to that, it was abysmal. But 6 points in 6 games, we take that for our $10.5 million player. Thank you very much. But they ended up putting a line together of Zary, Kadri, and Pospisil, and that's stuck. That was another shining light for the Flames tonight as well. Was that line, and they've been doing it all year. But ever since that, he has been something else. I believe I saw a tweet that he is third amongst active rookies in average point per game. Obviously behind
Bedard and
no
Rossi. How good of a season is Rossi having so far?
I can't remember who was number 2, but it was
probably Rossi or
you might be right. You might be right. But either way, it was nice to see.
That's just my 67s bias, though. That's just my I watched him play a lot bias.
Yeah, that's fair. But still, to see that, like, with Bedard out, I think he's still gonna win the Calder. But is Zary a dark horse Calder finalist? Maybe. Like, what do you think? Like, I mean, I want to take my bias out of it because I want to say he is. He's playing disgusting. There's a lot of good rookies this year. Like, you look at Brock Faber, he's doing crazy things in Minnesota. You talk about Marco Rossi. Bedard, obviously, who's probably going to walk away with this damn thing. But would it be too crazy to say that Connor Zary might be a bit of a dark horse finalist for this Rookie of the Year?
Well, in my extremely unbiased, having seen him play one game
opinion, fair.
No, I think it's reasonable. I mean, he's got a good stat line. Listen, plus minus is so stupid, but dude, award voters
love it.
They're gonna see plus 13 on the Flames,
dude.
Dude.
Yeah, I know they're gonna love it. They all get hot and horny about plus minus. It's the best stat.
Man, Erik Karlsson can't win the Norris if he's a minus. So unless he's on the San Jose Sharks and scores 100 points, I guess. But no, they love plus minus. So yeah, if he ends up being like top 3 in like points per game among rookies with a plus on a otherwise not super great team, that feels like a recipe for Calder finalist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he's keeping pace. It's not like it was just a flash, just a quick little spark and that was it. He's been consistent, and Flames fans are happy. They're not only is he performing, but the Flames are playing the kids, and that's something that Daryl Sutter was reluctant to do.
Say you're not used to it.
Yeah. It's an uncommon occurrence here in Calgary over the last few years, but it's good. It's good to see. I'm happy. I know he was a bright light in tonight's win. He did a lot of things. He gets rewarded on the score sheet. And he does all those he does things off the puck that are impressive. I don't know, that little screen on that Hanifin goal was just something that stood out to me as impressive for a rookie who, like I mentioned, I know he's you look at his age and you're like, really, like he's only just a rookie now, but he did battle some significant injury problems. So before we hit the presser, I'm gonna put call out in the chat for press conference questions. I've seen a few trickle in already, so we're gonna have to go back and find those questions. But before we hit that, I want to give the floor to you to just kind of give any final 2 cents, because I mean, I think I've talked a lot about what I liked from the Flames. You talked a lot about what you liked, well, kind of liked from the Sens. But for the Sens people watching, because this is a crossover episode, we have to make sure everybody's happy in the chat. Any final closing remarks, Ottawa Senators wise, that you wanted? I see that devilish grin on your face.
This team has crushed me to a point that I didn't know was possible. I think I brought this up with Peter the last Sens Flames crossover episode, and I mentioned the Ottawa Senators have had a single winning season in my 20s. I'm 27.
What year was that? The year they? That was the year they
16-17.
That was the knuckle. The Chris Kunitz dagger in the chest.
Yeah.
Wow. And were they?
Because I would have turned 20. I would have turned 20 just after the 15-16 season.
Huh.
The off season of following the 2016 off season, I turned 20.
Okay. Well, that's miserable. I'm sorry. There's no sugarcoating.
Listen, I dealt with the rebuild.
Dude.
I dealt with the rebuild. I watched the teams with Logan Shaw and Zach Sanford and Derek Stepan and Michael Del Zotto and fucking Mike Riley, the number one fucking whatever. Is he a righty? He was playing number one right side pairing anyway.
Both iterations of Ryan Dzingel.
Both. Yeah. One was so much fun.
Yeah,
I will say.
the other one was like, we are trying to relive the past.
And that fun one turned into Anthony Duclair, which looked like it was gonna be fun until he said bye. No, this team has just like crushed me, and like I don't know, maybe this isn't as fun for viewers who want to maybe tune in after their team beats the Sens, but I'm past the point of being upset on shows. I just kind of it is what it is.
It's hard. Like as a content creator, it's hard. You talk like because there was a stretch of time where I was going through the same thing with the Flames this year, where I would cover loss after loss after loss. My game notes were the same bullshit.
It's the same thing
night
every night.
After night after night. And there's only so many ways you can spin it on a show. And I'm not turning this into a woe is me. You know, you guys work for the SDPN. You guys should be happy. It's difficult when you're covering one team and it's the same bullshit over and over and over. It was turnovers for the Flames. It was the power play. It was Markstrom stands on his head, but they get no run support. Another baseball reference, just so for those who are missing them all. But it's hard, and that's where I can relate, and I'm empathetic because it sucks sometimes going on night after night.
You said no run support, and I had like flashbacks. Awful.
Oh yeah, the Blue Jays are for another time. But we could you and I could spend a lot of time talking about that.
Yeah. I actually found out so I got this for Christmas, so I'm going to derail this for a second.
Go ahead.
It's this Vladdy face, and I found out along with my parents that apparently this is like Drake's logo.
Yeah, it's the OVO logo. That's what I thought that was.
I don't know.
The whole time.
I didn't know that. I learned that, and my parents learned that when I got this from my parents because my brother's like, that's Drake's logo. I was like, oh okay, and it's like a fucking owl. It's not even a Blue Jay. It's whatever.
It's an owl.
Anyway,
yeah.
I was like, all right. Drake
it's still
had to find
sick,
his way
though.
into another sports team in Toronto.
Yeah, running through the six with his woes. That's for damn sure. Okay, call out for press conference questions as we put a bow on this crossover episode of Game Over Calgary and Game Over Ottawa on the heels of a 6-3 Calgary Flames to win at the Scotiabank Saddledome tonight. Yeah, so let's see what we got here. Oh, God, I just saw it. This one from Conrad says, Conrad, by the way, was at the game, snagged me a Flames Pride shirt and won't let me pay him for it. So shout out to Conrad. That's my dog. Right. That's my dog, Conrad. Presser question, is Jan Kuznetsov just not ready yet? Does he need more time to bake in the AHL? The Dennis Gilbert thing, I think, expedited his call up with the injury that he sustained in Chicago, because they went Chicago, Philly. I can't remember. Either way, he hit his head. Not great. He hurt himself. Not so good. Kuznetsov was promptly called up, sent back down because Rooney had to come off LTIR and then go on waivers. So had it not been for that paper transaction, he probably would have just stayed up and it wouldn't have had anything to do with it. And it didn't have anything to do with it. However, on the topic of Yan Kuznetsov, I don't think he looked bad tonight. I don't think he was great. I don't think he was horrible. It was just kind of one of those, he was there. And I think he had a couple good looks offensively. Unfortunate that his most memorable moment of the game was the first goal for Ottawa, on the first shot for Ottawa, going off of his shin and into the back of the net. But aside from that, I don't think that Yan Kuznetsov was considerably bad, nor do I think he was considerably good. So as for more time to bake in the AHL, maybe he just, rides out until Gilbert comes back. I don't know what their plan is. The thing about the Calgary Flames is that they don't really have a direction and they don't really know what they're doing. So I can't tell you what their plans are for Yan Kuznetsov. But like I said, don't think he was horrible. Don't think he was stellar. Let's see here. Not a whole lot of questions. You guys get some questions in. It doesn't have to be hockey. It could be fun stuff. It could be fun stuff like what is an OVO owl, or who is Drake. But there's a lot of support for you. This one from Newbie Sports. I don't know how you and Maud do it, Charlie. I can barely find the motivation to watch the team right now, let alone talk about them.
I've taken more nights off this season. Like if I see that Maud's doing a game, I go, all right, well, time to do anything else. It's especially nice when I see that she's doing a Saturday night game and I could just do anything else on a Saturday night.
Or watch another team.
Or watch another team. Yeah. That's so much fun. It's so much fun. Yeah. God, it's brutal though. Yeah. We already talked about how just covering a losing team, you're just saying the same things every single night.
Yeah.
And eventually, it's tiring for you, but you're doing the show and you're like, is anyone enjoying this? Like anyone who tunes in for every episode, you've listened to me say the exact same thing for the last month. Like you can't be enjoying this either. So
yeah.
Obviously, I don't want to speak for you, but I imagine the same thing for you is thank you for tuning in to these shows after teams lose, because we know it's brutal for you too. It's brutal for you as the viewer as well.
Those are the people that we remember, because eventually when the Senators are good, people are going to be flooding the Game Over Ottawa shows, and we will remember the people who stuck it out from the beginning. I still remember all the people who watched the first ever Game Over Calgary when I was frozen for the entire duration of the show. And you could just hear me, but you couldn't see me. We remember those people, don't we, Charlie?
Absolutely.
This is another one for you, Charlie. Can Game Over Ottawa change to Game Over PWHL Ottawa?
Dude, how does the PWHL team have more loser points than the Sens? They played one game.
That's crazy. The Sens have none.
Zero. They got past regulation twice, both Sweden games. That's it. They haven't gotten past regulation in North America this season.
Woof. And one of them was the Stützle home run, swinging a drive.
Yeah, the Stützle walk off, and the other one was shootout against Minnesota.
Right.
Woof. So
whoosh.
Man, it doesn't change that much, but imagine if this team was, what are the Sens now? I should know this. They're 14, and also, by the way, the Panthers won tonight. The Panthers have as many road wins as the Sens do overall this season.
I saw that. You tweeted that.
So the Sens, brutal. So the Sens are 14-22. So say it doesn't change that much, but say they got to OT a few times, make that instead of 14-22, you make it 14-16 and 6. It doesn't change that much, but it doesn't look as bad. It looks like they were in it a bit.
Yeah, it's a clear indicator that at least the games were
Yeah.
close-ish.
Sorry, that was just I went off the rails on
No,
that. No, the
that's fine.
PWHL team looks so much fun. The second game's been delayed against Boston because of like weather stuff in Boston, I believe.
Yeah.
So, the next home game, I think the next home game maybe isn't until the 17th or no. I think it might be I don't know the PWHL schedule off the top of my head, but I know there is at least one more the next not the next, I don't know. I'm going to go to a game eventually. Um, I was doing game over
Excuse
the
me.
night of the first home game. Um, I have to go pick up my girlfriend at the airport in Montreal on the night of the 17th. So that's another home game I'm going to be missing. I'm going to get there eventually. And because it looks so fun.
It looks
Like
awesome. Did you see Liz going to the Minnesota one?
yeah,
I
dude.
saw
Oh,
those
I'm
pictures
so
that Liz
jealous. Like,
posted.
what a trip that must be.
Right? That looked awesome. And
Amazing.
I think there were 13,000 people at that game, or just north of 13,000
Smashed
people.
Ottawa's record days later. Yeah.
Crazy. It's great to see. I'm pumped that that the PWHL's around. I can't wait for them to expand. It's going to be really cool if Calgary gets a team. I think that people have been talking about that as a potential for expansion. I don't see why not. There's lots of great places for them to play, and the Calgary Flames play at one of them. So do the Wranglers. So do the Hitmen. So yeah, it's awesome. I'm really excited to be following along that too. Couple more questions we'll take, and then we'll put a bow on this episode of Game Over Calgary and Game Over Ottawa. Conrad asking a follow-up. I guess my other question is, if Shillington is ready after his conditioning stint, does he slide in on that third pair, or does he go higher up in the lineup? Probably slides in on the third pair to start, just kind of ease him back in. You got to keep in mind this guy hasn't played in a long time, and he was going through some stuff, some pretty bad stuff, and mental health is no joke. Take care of yourself. Make sure you take care of the people around you. So all the best to Shilly. Glad to see him back. But yeah, I think, they probably ease him back in. It's been a long time since he's played at the professional level. The American League is going to do a good job kind of getting him back to game speed. And then when he eventually gets the call up to the big club, I think it's going to be a slow transition back in. But I'm excited to see it when it does happen, because he's a polarizing player. He's fast as hell. The boys like to rally around him. Just a good dude. It's good to see him coming back. And the last question we will take, here's a question. What's your favorite Sens jersey of all time? And then Auddie, throw in your favorite Flames one. How about this? Let's both answer Flame. You give me your favorite Flames and your favorite Sens, and then I'll do the same.
Oh, hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me compare to. I have two in my mind. Let me
The
quickly
Flames ones
compare
or for Sens?
Flames.
Okay, I'll go first then.
One
While you look. For me, for Flames, it's a toss up between OG Blasty.
Wow.
Not the
okay.
reverse retro one, but OG Blasty. And people shit on the pedestal jersey, but I fucking love the pedestal jersey. Not even just the reverse retro, but the original ones where they had the red and the white. I am a huge fan of the pedestal jersey. It is so, like, it makes no sense that they have the pedestal coming. Where the hell am I? That they have the pedestal coming up. Like, that pedestal makes no sense. That makes zero sense.
Yeah,
but I love the angles. I don't know what it is. But a toss up between Blasty and the pedestal for Calgary. And for Ottawa, it's gotta be I think it's gotta be Black Senegoth. I love the Black Senegoth with, like, the gold collar.
I'll get props. I'll get some props.
We need some props. I think they had the gold trim around the collar. But I liked the gold. The black and gold was just chef's kiss.
Here we go. Let me get my chair. Sorry for anyone listening on like Spotify or whatever. It's not going to work as well. But
yes,
so
that's the one.
Is also my favorite, just because childhood. This is my favorite jersey from childhood, without a doubt.
Love it.
I think objectively though,
O jersey,
the nicest Sens jersey.
The O jersey's so classic. I love it.
It's so nice. So yeah, for those who aren't watching and listening, objectively, I think the best Sens jersey is their like black like striped alternate that they had back in. I guess it would have been introduced like kind of early 2010s is when that
Yeah,
came in.
that would track. It was after they
2013-ish
abolished the
maybe.
Sens jersey.
Yeah, when the actual Sens jersey was
Yeah.
they got rid of that. But yeah, I think my favorite's the Senegoth, just because like I still need to figure out a name on that. I think I'm going Havlat on that. I still got to put a name on that one, but I think I'm going Havlat.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Flames though, this is kind of a basic answer, but honestly, their current home,
Yeah, the retros.
it's so clean.
I'm so glad they
It's
made
so
that
clean.
switch. Oof. Their
I
previous jerseys were. Blech.
we got into fights. So in the SDPN WhatsApp group, we got into fight because
Oh yeah, we did.
if you won't, like, it's crazy that, and it's not even the Calgary guys.
No,
SDP Game Over hosts elsewhere in the country are defending the Black Sea, like not the jersey that's black, but like the jersey with like
with
the black
the red
Flames
jersey,
logo.
black. It's this jersey,
Yeah.
but red and a black.
But the home,
sea.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'm
and
sorry?
and then they got really
Awful.
really original with the Canadian flag patch on this shoulder and the Alberta flag patch on this shoulder. Yeah, chef's kiss. Because nothing says red, black, white, and orange like the blue Alberta flag. Yeah.
And listen, like there is part of me that's like a little bit nostalgic for that because I think of that jersey, and for some reason, like Sean Monahan pops up in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that is. He's the first guy to come to mind. They were kind of on the way
He's
out
a former
at that
67.
point.
That's why.
Like, well, yeah, but like, I mean, as far as the Flames go, Curtis Lazar,
Also former
no,
Flame and former Sen.
and former Sen, former Edmonton Oil King, I think, as well.
He was
Um,
Memorial Cup champion.
yeah, so excited about how good he looked at the World Juniors. Actually, because he was playing with McDavid. That's actually probably why.
Yeah. Captain Canada, baby.
But no, I think the best Flames jersey, dude, those current home jerseys are beautiful.
The Flames ones.
The Flames, yeah, the
Yeah.
current home jerseys are so nice.
I'm so glad they brought that back as just like a retro. Then they were doing it like more often at home, and then they
Yeah.
brought the Heritage Classic against the Jets. They did the white, and everyone was like, "Oh baby, let's go!" And then eventually they went full retro. I think that was 3 seasons ago. Yeah, 3. And God, what a great move that was. I love it.
So nice.
So nice.
This is a bit of a hot take. I don't know. I've gotten some people to tell me that I'm absolutely full of it with this. Sorry, we're just talking jerseys now.
That's
real quick
okay.
before the
Hey, it's
show's
the
done.
presser. It's the presser.
My favorite jersey, I don't know about you, but my favorite jersey in the league, honestly, the Minnesota Wild home jersey.
So nice.
I love it.
So nice. For
I'm
me, it's
I'm a sucker for like the big stripe behind the logo.
yeah.
Also, I think it's just a gorgeous logo, but there's some of that green with like the cream as well. It's so nice.
My favorite is similar along the lines with that like kind of cream centerpiece is Columbus alternate.
Oh, the cannon.
The cannon.
Oh, dude.
It might be my
So
favorite.
nice.
It might be one of my favorite jerseys of all time. That and the Kachina. Kachina's up there for me too. I love the Yotes Kachina.
every like not even just like the current jerseys for them, but like every alternate or reverse retro they do is so good.
Mm-hmm. They kill
every
it.
time.
They kill it.
So good.
And now they're actually getting good. But that's for another time. I got to talk about the Yotes twice next week as the Flames are set to face off against them a couple of times, and I'm not looking forward to it. Straight up.
You're doing both games?
Yeah, I'm doing the next like 7 because I left Peter out to dry by having a busy start of January. But that's a good segue into concluding the episode. So thank you. This has been great, man. This was everything I wanted it to be. I'm glad you and I got to chop it up. It's a lot of fun. It's a sin the Sens only play the Flames twice a year, because this could be a lot of fun to do more than once. But for the Calgary folks watching, Charlie, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at CW Arsenault. Watch Game Over Ottawa. It's a lot of fun.
If you like, hey, you know what? Flames
It's more
fans,
fun than the games. It's more fun than watching the Sens play.
Flames fans know it all too well. We just bitch and complain on this show, and I'm sure you and Maud do the same thing. You can find me on Twitter at Auddie James. You can find this show on playback on your favorite podcatchers. That's the beauty thing about this show. We do it live, and then we upload it as a podcast. So if you're listening on playback, shout out to you. Thanks for doing that. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, as I've mentioned before. Closing in on 100,000, and we really appreciate all of the love in forms of subscribes and likes to the show and all that good stuff. So be sure to hit all those fancy buttons before you close your screen and hit the hay for the night. Thanks for watching. This has been a lot of fun. I will see you guys next on actually Thursday. It's not even next week against the Arizona Coyotes. That is a 7 o'clock local puck drop. I will be joined by Mike Gould from Daily Faceoff. As for Game
Should've
Over,
known.
yeah, I had to get Gould on.
Should have known.
Had to get Gould. He was
Flames Yotes, you got it. You
had to get Gould. Yeah, had to get Gould. As for Game Over Ottawa, your next stream will be on Thursday as well. Charlie and Dougie Cousins will be
Dougie from Bearings.
That's right.
Bearings. Ottawa pop punk band.
As the Sens take on the Buffalo Sabres. So there's lots of Game Over action on Thursday. As I mentioned, thank you all for watching. It's been a blast. On behalf of myself, on behalf of Charlie Arsenault, on behalf of SDPN Sports, thank you for watching Game Over Calgary and Game Over Ottawa. Be safe, and we will both talk to you on Thursday, but on different streams. Adios. Good night.